Rixon Lane, Reece Funderburk, French horn player, Carolina band, and fantasy, repping the shirt too. Like it, dude.
What can I say?
Fantasy guru extraordinaire. All that good stuff. Here to answer your lovely questions that you sent in to us, lanewusc@gmail.com, and on Twitter @FastLaneSports. This is from Lisa in Woodruff, hometown repping. Shout out to the Druff. What sports figure do you most admire on the field, court, etc.? What about off the field, court, etc.? I admire so few pro athletes off the field and off the court. I would go on the field and on the court. I guess I'd go LeBron James.
It's a pretty good one.
I like the whole unselfishness thing that he brings, and I would go LeBron on the court. Off the field and off the court, the guy would go with is Sonny Galloway, Oklahoma baseball coach. They came to Columbia last year for the Super Regional. Just a class act, just a really great guy. So I'd go LeBron on and Sonny Galloway off.
For me, it's a tough one. I'm probably going to go with the spirit of the X Games going on. I'm going to go Shaun White.
Flying tomato. Nice.
He's always a class act. Whatever he does, he's repping it, and he's never selfish about it. He's always carrying out. Last night, a couple of the guys just fell on the runs. He was actually there right after the run to pick him up and help him out. So, class act all the way.
You stay classy, Sean. This is from Roscoe in Chapin. What is your dream team of USC basketball players? You can mix and match players from any period of time at USC.
That's a tough one.
Oh, this is great. If you can mix and match we going full lineup? We go full lineup here, full 12? Starting 5 and bench?
I'll give you a starting 5. I'll help you with your starting 5. But
Who'd your starting 5 be? All-time Carolina Gamecock basketball players. I'm assuming this is men's, because I probably couldn't go all-time.
I couldn't go all women.
I'd go Jocelyn Penn and like 4 Street Combs.
It's true. You got to have Devin Downey in there somewhere.
Downey would be on mine. Downey would be he'd be on. I don't know if he'd be my starter, but he'd be on the team.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what you're looking for. I like the energy. I'm not saying Carrera is going to be something great, all the way, but he could come off the bench and be a really strong supporter.
He'd be a nice 6th man or 7th man. Carrera's going to end up being like one of the most disliked Carolina players in history by like opposing fan bases.
Probably.
Because people hate him, and he's only been here like 16 games, and people can't stand him.
It's all the energy, man.
I understand it. He does a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
I do. He talks to refs a lot, though. As a freshman,
it's bad. You noticed it the last game, against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Instead of hustling back on defense, he's complaining to the refs.
He's chatty. I don't know if he'd be on mine, but I can see where you're coming from with him. So you got Downey and Carrera.
I'll put, not starting, but I'm going to go off the bench again. I'll put Sam Bolger there.
Bolger.
He's playing actually in some European leagues over there. I saw he was on a Turkish team about 2 months ago. I don't know if he's still there, but
still balling.
It's still something to think about. What do you got?
I would go. I think I know my starting 5. I would go B.J. Mackey. I would go John Roche. I think Kevin Joyce would come off the bench for me. I'd go Mackey Roche. I'd go Alex English at forward.
Of course.
I'd go Grady Wallace at forward. And then I'd go John Slaughter at center. Those would be my 5.
That's a pretty good one.
I'd have Downey off the bench for sure. I'd have Carlos Powell. Early century guy.
Right.
I'd have Carlos Powell. I would have Kevin Joyce off the bench as a guard. I would have Mike Dunleavy off the bench. That's 9 solid. Downey would be 10. That's a good lineup.
If you could have a team like that now.
They wouldn't be 1 and 4 in the SEC play. That's a great one. Good job, Roscoe. This is from Frederick in Lexington. What word would cause you to faint in the National Spelling Bee?
Medulla oblongata.
You had that one ready, too. Medulla oblongata? Spell that right now. would go. I can't think of a word, and obviously I can't spell it for you. I would think anything with a mix of the F sound and a lot of vowels. Like my nightmare word would be like 6 letters, but it would be like half vowels, and it would start either F or PH.
I think I would faint after a word like pterodactyl, where I just forget the silent P at the beginning.
Oh, see, just spelling in my head, I didn't even think about that.
You know, I would just go right at it.
I'd be getting dinged on the first letter. From Tristan in Colombia, if you were a tennis legend a la John McEnroe, what would your signature insult to the chair umpire be? Oh, so like a "you cannot be serious" type of deal.
Do I like need an insult?
If you have one, do you have one, or do you assume that you just are beasting people?
That's exactly what all I need.
Reece is going 6-0 on Cats. He doesn't need the chair umpire to help him out. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now that I want to say on camera. I might a little salty. I might go with send me to the car wash. I'm getting hosed. I might go with that. That's a little weak.
Hosed.
That's a little weak. Like, come on. Yeah, I'd be just hurling obscenities, just like John McEnroe. Antoine from Colombia. Yes, which is more unwatchable, the NBA All-Star Game or the NFL Pro Bowl?
Oh, that's not even a question. It's got to be the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, 100% right answer. Because the All-Star Game is basically like NBA basketball, just they blatantly don't play defense. Whereas in actual NBA games, like late in the second half, they sometimes play defense.
You got to pull something out.
No, All-Star Game is just a bunch of this. Just at the top of the key, just clear it out. Just clear it out. I want this guy.
Are we counting the festivities too?
No, I'm counting just...
No, in recent years, the dunk contest has been pretty awful.
I don't watch the dunk contest. It's miserable. I would actually prefer, if they got rid of the game altogether and then just had like the skills competition and the rookie game, I would watch that and be perfectly happy. Now, the Pro Bowl's a joke. The best
They
players...
limit the defenses.
And the best players don't even play. Like, if you're in the Super Bowl...
You're not going.
You're good, clearly, and you're not going to go. And the guys that are there are bummed because they're not in the Super Bowl.
The ones that should be there, they get hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're not going to come.
And then the guys that, I mean, you've got guys faking injuries not to go to it, and I can't watch it. It's awful.
It's got to be.
You know what would be better? If instead of the Pro Bowl, if they took, like, the guys that were in contract years, and, like, the teams weren't going to sign them next year, and just had them play an exhibition in front of scouts.
Retiring.
In front of, like, GMs. And MVPs would get a contract. I'd watch that better than Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl's terrible. From Zachary in Lugoff. Construct the sandwich of your dreams in less than 10 seconds. I'll time you. You go first. I got to think.
Give me every single form of meat I can get on it. And then I'll put some honey mustard, some mayo. I'll give it some lettuce and tomatoes. Just for that little bit.
Very nice. So we've got a meaty concoction. Honey mustard, mayo. Did I hear mayo on there? And honey mustard.
I've got to have it.
Edgy.
Maybe some black olives. I'm addicted.
Okay. I go basic. You can start my timer. I go basic. I go roast beef. I go sharp cheddar, mustard, white bread, pickle spear on the side, all on top.
Got it.
Bam. Done. Delicious. From Margaret in Lexington. What reality show would you do the best on?
You go first on this one.
Does Dancing with the Stars count as a reality show?
No, it's got stars. Is it reality?
Well, those reality people, they think they're stars. I mean, no. I was the guy from Jersey. I was the drunk one from Jersey Shore.
Okay, I guess if you're going to say, yeah.
Jersey
Shore is.
If I wouldn't do Jersey Shore. I'd call the cops on all of them. Like the first episode. Like, all these people, come send them in the paddy wagon. I would go on Survivor.
Yeah, I could see it.
I could do Survivor.
You got the look for it too.
If I didn't have to eat the mice and cook the rats over a skewer on the fire, I could do some of the stuff. Like, I could do the swimming and all of that. Yeah, I'd go Survivor. What would you do?
Just Top Chef count as a reality show?
Absolutely.
I'll go
Absolutely.
I can cook.
I can see you doing. I can see you doing Top
Pretty
Chef.
good Top Chef.
I can see you in one of the big puffy hats. You can work that. It's from Dominic and Casey, who will be USC's Friday night starter now that Michael Roth is gone. They practiced baseball today, apparently. It's like 7 degrees outside.
But the game's canceled.
The scrimmages got canceled in Columbia, but they practiced today because Chad Holbrook had his press conference. I'm thinking, it sounds from like what he's saying that it's either going to be Colby Holmes or Jordan Montgomery.
That was my guess.
And probably Jordan Montgomery, the sophomore. Holbrook said today, he said Jordan Montgomery can beat anybody when he's on his game. So if you got a guy like that, I say trot him out on Friday. You can go Colby Holmes on Saturday, and Sunday he says it's a toss-up right now, so they don't know who would go Sunday. Tyler Webb would probably be the closer, and then they said Jack Winecoop, freshman.
That's interesting.
Might be the Sunday guy. He'll either be in the bullpen or he'll be starting on Sunday when the season starts, is what Holbrook said today. It's from Elton in Greenville. If you had immunity from law enforcement for a day, what mode of transportation would you take for a spin?
Cop car.
Cop car?
Yeah.
Just generic cop car?
That scene in The Hangover where they're driving on the sidewalk, alarms flaring everywhere, I gotta do that.
So you'd have to be in a big city though. So you want to go Vegas cruising in a cop car?
I'd say downtown Columbia in 5 o'clock traffic.
Five points in Columbia?
Come on.
You would get through there quicker than anybody else in history. 2 words. Zamboni Joyride. Frozen streets, like, if you went like tonight on a Zamboni, just go down I-26, it'd be awesome. Zamboni Joyride.
I didn't even think about that. You could go down the interstate.
You could go down the interstate on a Zamboni. I could get home in an hour. Roads be clear, salt on there, it'd be awesome. This is the last one from Harriet in Casey. You're on a 20-hour plane ride, sitting in the middle seats. We're on one of those uncomfortable planes with the 3 seats in a row. Who would be the worst 2 people to have on either side of you? So you're stuck in the middle on a plane for 20 hours. I'm assuming there's no in-flight movie and we have no headsets and we can't sleep.
It's awful.
20 hours, who would be the worst possible 2 people to have on either side of you? Keep in mind your family might watch this.
I'm still going to go with my mom on one side.
Ouch!
I can't do that.
We're sorry, Miss Funderburk.
It's just too much. I'm sorry, Mom.
So she's on one side, but then who's on the other? Because you have to have that back and forth.
It's true.
Because if it's just one person annoying you on one side, you can just put one of these numbers.
That's true, but
Because your mom, she might slap you for it, but you could just turn the head, you know. So you have to have somebody on the other side that's equally unpleasant for you to be with for 20 straight hours.
I'm not gonna lie. My history professor last semester, Dr. Burgess, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but you sound like Mr. Mackey from South Park.
So history professor on one side, and your own mother brought you into this world, and you're going to put her on the worst 20-hour plane.
What do you got, Hotshot?
I'll tell you right now. It's me in the middle, it's Skip Bayless on my left, and Tim Tebow on my right.
Okay. When you put Tim Tebow there, yeah.
It's Skip Bayless here, and it's Tim Tebow here, and Skip is just blathering on about the Broncos, and Tim Tebow won't make him shut up because he's too darn polite.
Did you catch it today where the argument was,
I don't watch the show.
If Tebow was on the 49ers, would they be in the Super Bowl?
No!
Why is that even brought up? What does that have to do with it, Skip Bayless?
It's in their ESPN contract. It's in, if you follow Robert Flores, Roflo ESPN on Twitter, he is the funniest guy because he hates that they have to talk about it. Because someone brought up the other day, it's like, are you guys going to make a big deal about Tebow leaving the Jets? And he said, you know what network I work for, right? Yeah, it'll be brought up.
There's no way to get around.
Skip Bayless would be on my left, Tim would be on my right.
Just wait till next season when he's not even on the roster.
Oh, they'll still bring him up. He'll be the analyst. It'll be him and Skip in the studio, and Stephen A. will be on the camera. He'll be on the New York, just reading his paper.
Canadian League football stud.
So disrespectful. That's it, y'all. Good questions. New show, Monday night, 8 to 10. Forgot what my own show was. Don't ever do that. This guy on Twitter, following _Funderbolt. F-U-N. Because he's a hoot. We're done.